Association. Thank you all for coming out. We want to bring awareness to the tenants of the building of the issues and concerns that we continue to deal with on the daily. As far as the flyers that went out, we had a list of different topics on there that we'll address today. We also have one of our guests here, Christopher Lynn from Scarborough Legal Services, that will who will address a couple of the issues that are on our flyer today. Yay! Yay! Thank you for coming out.
No problem. Good to see you all again.
Yes. Yes. So, first off, I'd like to introduce the people that are the team members. So, we have Yvonne, as well as Kathy, and Rowan, myself, and we have one other member that will be here shortly. Yes. So again, thank you all for coming out, and I hope to hear some of your concerns. Oh, there we go.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Oh, you're most welcome. Like I said, there's a lot of issues. We can't address them all at one time. So we, you pick and choose what we're able to work at right away to try and see some involvement from tenants, from different members of agencies, companies that are out there. So one of the biggest things that I think you've all noticed is that our common areas have been plastered, primed, painted, and so far it's been done poorly.
Yes.
This is an issue that we want to have management look into proper contractors doing the job right. So with that being said, that draws attention to the rent increases that we get every year. Now, there's only a certain percentage that they're allowed to increase, which is
1.2 for the year of 2020.
so 1.2% for the year 2020 is all that they're allowed. Now, with that being said, we have the issue because of all of these new repairs that they're doing, and I'm not sure if anybody remembers, back on April 16th of 2019, we all received in our mailbox the capital expenditures letter, stating that they were going to be doing repairs around the building. Now, this was in relation to the elevators, the heating, the domestic hot water boiler being replaced, and the kitchen drain stacks cleaned. Now, with that being said, and now we have posted at our elevators about the painting that was to be done from March of this year, of 2022, and to last 4 to 6 weeks. Now, with that information, that brings us to... Oh, yes, that's right too. And the underground garage notices of repairs to be done down there as well. So, I will let Christopher Lynn speak on behalf of the capital expenditure so you understand what it is and what management and the owner most likely will move forward on, and for us to be better educated about it.
Yeah, so I don't want to bore you too much with the details before anything goes on, but with an application for capital expenditures, it's dealing with a lot of the similar stuff that they've already put on there. It does seem like they are working towards trying to increase the rent based on capital expenditures, which is one of the ways that they can try and increase your rent each year beyond the annual guideline amount. So typically the guideline is set by the province depending on inflation each year. It may vary. I'm not sure exactly what they're setting it at next year, but if I recall, it was going to be on the higher end. Now, for a capital expenditure application, the landlord can apply for a maximum of up to, I believe it's 3% per year on top of the rent guideline amount, which may not seem like a lot, but when you're paying already high costs of rent, as is typical in Toronto, Scarborough, anywhere, 3% on top of the annual amount that you're already paying builds up, and when it's over the course of 3 years and it just builds up by that additional 3% each year, it can be a lot. Now this is something that is really, it's great that you've all shown up here today, and it's great that you're trying to get more people on to your membership, because fighting these things even before they get to court is a huge part of what goes on. And when you do get to court, it does help to have numbers to fight some of these, to fight these applications and to fight the amounts that they're trying to increase, to go over all the evidence and see what kinds of changes they've actually really incurred and whether or not these were done within the right amount of time. There's a lot of procedures that they need to go through when they are filing for this application. So, I mean, our office is working closely with the association, and if there's anything that does come through, we're happy to help in whatever way we can. I know Phil with the FMCA has also been on board as well, and I mean, if it does really come to that, there's we can always look into possible representation for these for the above guideline increase, or at the very least provide more information on what you guys can do as a collective to come together and fight this, not just before the LCB, but before it even gets there. So.
Okay. So just so that you understand.
One question.
Yeah.
So when you say, okay, just say every year. So, okay, so say next year, it's the rent increase is 1.2, right? And they ask for that expenditure thing, and they give them an extra 3%. So it brings us to 4.2%. So will that only be for next year, or are they gonna go the other? Is it gonna be for other years to come?
It depends. They can apply for up to 3 years for the increase. So it can be up to 3. Typically, those can be even harder. I mean, in theory, they should be calculating the rent based off of your flat amount. So when they increase it after those years, it should be back down to the regular amount, but that would be based off of the already increased rent that you paid for the several years. So it can add up to a lot.
This is legal?
Yes. Yeah.
For the landlord to increase the price?
I mean, it depends on a lot of their proof and their application, what kind of work they had to do, and they have to justify the actual increases in the rent based on the expenditures that were done. But yeah, that's why it can really add up, depending on how they apply for these things. Yeah.
Something that the city ordered them to repair? If the city ordered them and said you're not doing your maintenance, can they still get an above guideline rent?
So they may be able to get it still approved if it was something that was ordered by the city. Now, if it was something that was ordered by the city, depending on how long you've been dealing with it, there may be potential to apply for rebates based on the interference with your reasonable enjoyment up to that point. But I mean, technically, they can still apply to try and receive that capital expenditure if it's something that they did have to pay for to get it repaired. So it is.
Because the issues that they're dealing with, they've been
Are things they've been neglecting for a long time.
issues that they've been neglecting for maintenance. Well, Bev, maybe you can talk about that, how they've been neglecting that maintenance.
Yes. Okay. So first, so just before I touch that, I just want you to understand what type of capital expenditures the building has the right to put the application forward. So for example, we had work done on our balconies that was done without a permit, so it came to a halt. But they have that down as balconies, elevators, low energy light bulbs that they put in our hallways. Here's another one. Remember they replaced all of our toilets so that we have low flowing toilets. Okay? Security cameras. These are all things that the landlord can go after. for this capital expenditure. So, on top of those, we now have common areas, the paint work that's being done, the work that's being done in the underground. All these things fall into the capital expenditures. Now, management has done a poor job of maintaining this building for decades. And due to that, they're now only wanting the minimum work done. They're not talking about quality of work being done. They're talking about minimum. And under the minimum, they're having to continuously repair the pipes because the plumbers say, this needs to be repaired, that needs to be repaired. And management says, only do the bare minimum of work that needs to be done.
So they
What
put a
happens-
Band-Aid on it.
So they put a Band-Aid on it, and then what happens is the spot that the plumbers had pointed out to say, this piece needs to be done, that never got done, you're now in there for a larger repair, more damages, and now, for example, they have to repair your entire kitchen instead of a small portion before. So what happens? They then go ahead and they put in cheap supplies. So, yeah, the contractors put whatever it is that management has approved.
They have to fix the whole town.
Yeah, so that's something that we typically recommend if there are maintenance issues in the complex, not just your unit itself, but anywhere, anything typically in the unit that's in a state of disrepair and it's been brought to the landlord's attention. I just recommend take pictures, take notes, document dates and times, video if you want, recording if you can, just anything to prove that there are these issues and that these issues have been brought to your landlord. The main thing with applications for maintenance issues is part of the burden of proof that you have to satisfy the landlord and tenant board, or even in mediation if you do go there, is generally they will look at whether or not the landlord has acted reasonably based on the information they've been provided. So you want to be able to show that they've been made aware of these issues and that they haven't acted reasonably in dealing with these repairs, or haven't acted within a reasonable amount of time. So that's, it can be very difficult, but...
Very good point, please.
Bev,
Yes.
a lot of people have voiced concern about the rent going up in January versus their annual renewal date. Can you address that?
Okay. So, as of January 1st, 2022, the government has gone ahead and given the landlords permission and their right to go ahead and increase the rent. Now, that's as of January 1st. So what's happened is management has chosen to randomly select tenants to start paying as of January 1st, whereas others still are waiting for their end of year for their increase. I know tenants that have May, August of this year as their end of year to then start their increase. Have gotten notices that as of January of this year they were to start paying the increase. Now the reason why they're able to do that is because of COVID. When COVID hit and governments went ahead and stated that there's going to be a hold on the rent increases, we have just over a year of no increase. So because for an entire year we had no increase, the government decided now that there's been a year has gone by and you don't have to wait for the year end of your lease, that they can start as soon as January 1st of 2022 to start. Now, it's not fair because some tenants have started for January 1st. Other tenants, they're getting it at their proper time of the year. So, some people, they're paying more earlier. And the fairness of that.
This happened to me.
It's wrong.
My lease is from the first, but they started increasing my rent from January 1st to 2022.
Yes.
And I said to Arlene, why are you doing this? My lease is due in end of May.
Yes.
So from May you can increase, okay, I understand. But
Yes.
instead of doing that, you are putting it backward, January 1st, 2022.
Well, because they've missed out on an entire year, they're trying to play catch up for their pockets. So, because they're out money. Not that us as tenants and as human beings haven't been out of money because of COVID for ourselves. The lack of our jobs and affordability for our food and our rent and any other bills and survival.
Do you think without fight we would be able to really pay attention? I mean, have them pay attention to the government or to the landlord?
Well, all we can do is, as a community, as neighbors, and as friends, is join together. The more people, the stronger our fight is against our management, against the owner of this building. We have to bring awareness to all the people in here and say, don't be afraid to speak up for your rights. And you have the association to support you in what's going on in your unit, in your common hallways, and with your guests. Now, we have another issue, which is the visitors parking. Now, last month, we went ahead and we had our court date. I attended that, and we had quite a few tenants that went ahead and attended as well. That looked amazing to the judge, because the court case prior to that one, I was the only one that attended. There was no lawyer for the owner. There was no management there. And it looked really poorly on the owner to not care what's going on for us. That, I don't know, for how many years now, we have not had visitors parking.
Right.
We once had it. And because there are signs in the underground stating for visitors parking, color coding, pillars, this gave the awareness and the proof that we needed for court. So now what's happened is, because the owner and management and the landlord's lawyer never showed up to this last court hearing, on the flyers that were handed out to everybody's unit, there's information there stating the next court date is July 19th. Now, you can attend that through the Zoom or through phone call if you don't have internet service or you don't know how to go through that procedure. What's happened is, because nobody attended other than tenants from this building, when you attend in July, they will be moving forward with the hearing. So this will be where a fine, most likely, will come out of it. So it won't be postponed to another date.
But congratulations has to go out to everybody, because at least visitors parking is
Yes.
returned.
So after about a week of after the court date, we got this beautiful sign posted outside of our garage. As well as, I believe, there's some on the inside of the garage too. Just to let you know, I don't have a car. I don't have access to the underground parking. So I can't even see those beautiful signs that are throughout the garage. With that being said, our next concern is it's paid parking. Now, I'm sure it's being
downstairs?
for visitors parking.
What do you pay?
You have to pay $2 for half an hour.
For the management?
I think it's on a QR code. Now,
Really?
because again, I don't have enough information on it because I don't have a vehicle, so I don't know all the politics
So, last
for
time
it.
they didn't show up. The lawyer didn't show up.
No, nobody showed up.
Okay.
So the next
now
court
nobody
date-
showed up here either. Today, nobody showed up to pay either.
For?
Mary.
Oh, the deputy mayor, Michael Thompson, he was supposed to come today.
He didn't.
He hasn't showed up as of yet.
And he is what's it,
He's for the Scarborough Center, Ward 21.
and what about the legal aid?
Yep, right here.
Oh,
Yes, this is Christopher Lynn.
Chris, nice to meet you.
Yes. Now, so there's a half-hour fee for downstairs. I think there's a 12-hour fee, a 24-hour. Now, sorry. So now the catch. Thank you. So now the catch that's happening is, from my understanding, I'm not sure how you're supposed to pay. Now, as far as I understand, the QR code, when you put your cell phone up to it, I believe it pops open a website. Now, this website will be a private company for parking. And you then use your debit card, your credit card, to go ahead and pay for that visitor's parking. Now, that's one side of it.
we should
Now,
have free visitor parking for visitors.
we did have free
I know, I
visitors
remember
parking.
that.
We
Well,
want to fight to get
What
that
about
back.
this scenario? Okay, say I don't have a car and I want to rent one to go someplace, and then I come back from that place and it's got to be taken back the next morning.
Right.
So do I pay every half hour?
You would end up paying either a 12-hour or 24-hour fee, which is, I think it's $20 for 24 hours.
A flat rate.
Yeah, flat rate. Now, another issue that we have with that becomes, how do you get access to the underground if you don't have a vehicle? Because the way that management has set things up is that the only time you have access to the underground is if you have a vehicle. So any tenants that don't have a vehicle have no access in there. Now, being a tenant without a vehicle, how do I get my guest into that underground? What's going to happen is, and out of the garage.
I guess I
Out you can come. But the issue is, we have trouble communicating with our management to get work done around here. We have trouble for them to just pick up the phone to listen to anything that we have to say. Whether it's our concern that there's a flood somewhere to let them know, are they not getting back to you right away? Any type of an emergency. But now, we're all going to be calling the office to say, I need access into the underground. So we have over 250 units in this building. How many times are they going to answer the phone to the same thing? I need access, I need access. Now, management has not gone ahead and given us any letters whatsoever to state how they're going to work visitors parking. When does it become active? Has it yet? I don't know. Because we have not been informed of these things.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
You know that fob, I think you made a
Yeah.
comment here. The fob you have is useless to somebody who has a curb.
Yes, because they have to program it.
The program that you be used just like for downstairs.
That's right.
The only thing is to open the door. That's it.
That's correct.
You didn't know that.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, you could just get it.
No, so anybody that doesn't have a vehicle,
I just
they don't,
clarified his
yes,
question.
so they don't have permission to get into the underground, there's nothing there for them. So, but because we have visitors parking down there, every tenant in here should have access to that underground, whether it's paid visitors parking or free. But what we want to do is, because it has been known to the building that we have had free visitors parking down there, we want to fight to get it back. And if we're not getting it back, what justifies them to go ahead and make us pay when the conditions down there are so poor?
Or compensate.
Yeah, or even going after class action lawsuits against them for multiple things, but one of them being that we get rebated back money because we're supposed to be paying for this in our rent, and we haven't had it.
Tell me something, how long am I gonna have to wait for them to fix my damn door?
How long?
Yeah.
Their complaint about the doors. Right now, pretty much everything that's going on in the building, they are accusing COVID. Now, under the circumstances, we do have to put into reality that manufacturers have also been interrupted through COVID as well. So there is partial there because the supplies aren't available. Now, the only issue that comes up is, I believe, from my own opinion, that management has decided that they like their certain contractors and they want to stay with them. They forget that there's other companies out there that will have the supplies to do the job.
Because I got locked out. I was locked out in my own apartment.
Yeah. Now, right now, I've been seeing it's been about 8 months to a year, if not longer, that people are waiting to get new doors.
The city is supposed to come to see me this week.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call me to tell me.
Yes.
See what's done.
Yes.
Make
Now,
sure you get the case file number when they come by, in case you need to follow up with it.
yeah, she has an order to comply.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have all the papers. I have all the
Yes.
papers.
Yeah. So now, if you don't mind me addressing a little bit of yours, addressing your order to comply just a little.
Yeah.
Just in the sense of, now that the time span has gone by of a month's time that when you do an order to comply, which is when you've done a 311 complaint about work orders that you've put in and nothing has been done, you contact 311, you put in your complaint, you show proof of your work order. The city then goes ahead and investigates it, and if there is issues there that fall under their guidelines, an order to comply will be put forward to management stating that these repairs need to be done. And they usually have about a month's time to complete it. After the month's time, you then, if they have not done the work, you then go ahead and contact the city again. They come and they're supposed to come and do another inspection to see that nothing has been done. They then go forward to management and address it, and then they usually have 2 weeks to get the work done. After that period of time, the city then can go ahead and give them a fine and or start moving forward with a court hearing. Which, no, which the tenant would then have to attend. Yeah.
This $6.50, there's no reason why they're going from $2.50 to $6, is it?
Oh, for the
Yeah.
laundry room?
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Have they done it already?
Well, they have. When they put these new washers and dryers in the laundry room,
Are they new though? Are you sure?
we were told that they were new, but I think it was within the first 2 or 3.
We're not paying like we should be paying for it. They
Yeah.
keep breaking down. New washers and new dryers.
Yes, they shouldn't break down as fast.
It should be at least about a year before it starts crashing a little bit.
Oh, you would
These
think.
were crashing 3 weeks after. They're not new.
Yes.
Which means we shouldn't have to pay.
Yes, see, the catch that they did with these machines, just so that you're aware, the old machines, we had one price and you got to pick your setting. Now, they've gone ahead and they put these glorious machines in that if you want a light load, you have one price. If your load is for a medium wash, you've got a different price. And then your heavy wash. So it comes out from $2.50 to $6, depending on which load that
And
you're
is that
running.
each like $6 for the washer, then $6 for the dryer, or?
Oh, no, sorry.
Total.
No, up to $3, or is it $3.50? I can't remember now. $3 or $3.50 for the wash. And then the same thing with the dryers. I can't see why.
So one load is about $6.
Yeah, to wash and dry a load comes out to like
It's
$6.
not $6 for washing them.
No, like in total for the wash and the dry. Yeah. So it depends on how soiled your clothes is for what cycle you want.
So you keep adding